Hey everyone, I'm going to talk a little bit about our grades and midterm, make sure that we're all on the same page where we are counting our midterms as 15%. So what do we want to do is first think about what's going on with our midterm grades. So in Power Teacher Pro, at the high school or the middle school, they set up their category weights. They can set it up as separate percentages. So if you look here, I've got mine as 10, 25, 10, 15, 30, and 10. So when I go in Q4, mine need to be exactly the same for tops. Where at Tennessee High, these can be set up differently because their grades go most of the time straight into Power School and not in Canvas first. So if we go to Canvas, as we do with tops, and all of our grades are put in Canvas, we have to look at a couple things. So the first thing we have to look at is we have one assignment group, okay? And I say one assignment group, so this is going from January through May, is going to two different places in Power Teacher. And in order for these to sync, both the name here at the top where it says test and here where it says percentage, those have to match in both Q3 and Q4 in order for these grades to sync. Okay, so basically what I'm looking at is the whole semester for one and half a semester for the other. So what I'm going to do is look here and say March 13th. That is my midterm. Okay, so I'm going to know that everything above that is Q3. Everything below that is Q4. All right, now we need our midterm to equal 15%. So how do I know if my midterm equals 15%? Well, I know that 15 is half of 30. So my midterm needs to be half of the total number of points I have in only Q3, which is these top three things. Okay, so I have in mine set up as 100, 100, and I'm counting my midterm is 200 points because in order for my midterm to be half or 15% of that, that's what I need to do. Okay, so if you go to my midterm, you're going to see that it's on Power Test. And as we know, the Power Test grades on 100 points. But Power Test doesn't automatically go into our Canvas gradebook. So when I go to SpeedGrader in Canvas and I transfer my grades from Power Test over to my SpeedGrader, what I need to do is just double whatever the score is in order to make it be correct. So if I go into this student's grade, it says grade out of 200. Well, if this kid made 100, he's going to make 200 on the midterm because I've got to double his score just so it works as 15%. If he made a 75, he gets 150 out of 200, and that's going to count it as the 15%. All right, so if your test or whichever group you have put your midterm in is different than 30%, say it's 45%, then 15 would be 1/3. So 1/3 of your points would need to be your midterm grade. If it's 50 points, if your test category is 50 points, then 15 over 50 is 3/10. So you'd have to do a little bit more math and you'd have to make sure that your midterm is 3/10 the total number of points you have. So Mr. Collins said that since the district policy does say up to 15%, that we do need to be at least above 10%, but not above 15%, just to make sure it's in that range. And the closer to 15% is better, but we don't want to have a midterm that's worth 67.4 points just to make sure it's exactly 15%. So anyways, I hope this is helpful. If you still have questions and need help figuring out if your midterm is counting 15 or close to 15% of your total test, or whichever category you have it in Canvas, let me know and I'll be happy to help. Have a great day.